Hey everybody, it's Party Elite. Welcome back to IXION Let's Play, where I sincerely hope the horrors of this system are well and truly behind us, folks, because I just can't take it anymore. My goodness, the loss of life has been immense, and the last session, it was my fault. It was foolishness after foolishness. It was all coming from a good place. I was hoping to rescue what seemed to be another human. It turned out to be some strange, I don't know, chimera of some sort. But then I still had the option to blow the Galileo up after we lost those initial 5 scientists, but no, I decided to bring that ship back, allow it to dock, and we lost another 12 workers in the form of those dock workers, and that's entirely my fault. One foolish move after another, perhaps from hubris, perhaps from a greed, a desire to have more science. I don't know what, I don't know why, but it's going to weigh heavy on my mind and heart for some time to come as we move on. But folks, move on we shall. There is a lot to do, but we're almost done at Theta Crucis. We're going to pick up as many resources as we can. We still have to pick up quite a few cryonic pods, and we do still, yes, have to unlock a 4th sector and get our batteries up and running and all that good stuff as well. And let's not forget, of course, the colonists we've got on P.22 who need to be scooped up and brought back as well. To that end, we're going to go ahead and set up our 4th sector, and we're going to try and improve the rate at which we collect cargo and the rate at which we mine resources, etc., etc. So quite a bit of decision making that's going to kick off today's session. I've spent some time doing measurements and taking a look at the grid sizes and stuff, and I figured out how I want to lay Sector 4 out, and I'm really excited to see how it actually works and how goods actually flow. Now, I will say really quickly that I saw a comment mention that we should perhaps, instead of unlocking Sector 4 down over here, we should consider unlocking... I saw the angry there, and it scared the crap out of me at the bottom left corner. I was like, what happened? But sorry, I digress. Rather than unlocking Sector 4 down over here, there was a suggestion that we unlock Sector, what I assume would be Sector 6, up over here instead, and I think the reasoning being given was that it would allow for the smoother flow of certain resources, though at the end of the day, I think we're fine having our storage and secondary industrial sector be down over here, because either way, it's, you know, skip a sector and arrive at where most of the goods are being taken from or taken to. So either way, it's kind of equidistant, though I suppose it's easier for Sector 1 to ship food up to here and colonists alike and stuff, I suppose, like cryonic pods, but I don't think that's going to make enough of a difference to warrant the mental breakdown I might end up having if we have 1, 2, 3, and 6. My goodness, just the thought of it kind of bothers me a little bit. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. So we're going to go ahead and expand down over here. Unlocking Sector 4 is going to cost quite a few resources, but well worth it. Let's override these locks right off the bat, and let's at the same time go ahead and establish our additional health center over here. So over to population, over to our health center, and let's go ahead and drop you down over here just to make sure we have that redundancy established before things go horribly wrong and, you know, all of a sudden we've run out of electronics and I'm not even able to build this health center and this one's, you know, I don't know, on fire or something. I just want to be prepared for the worst before it actually happens. Let's go ahead and complete our road circuit over here, and then we should also consider the additional battery that I wanted to establish up here in Sector 1. Though again, it's not as much of a rush anymore because we've pushed the life center down over here, so everything's kind of in place that needed to be in place, and we just have that empty room now for the additional batteries when the time actually comes. By the way, yes, just as a reminder, if we nudge these mushroom walls over by 1 tile, we will be able to fit a 3rd one over here, and while that's not a rush either, we might eventually engage in that plan if we do need more food production. But honestly, that's the one thing that I'm least concerned about. Our food production is looking fantastic. Nonetheless, nothing's going to happen if we stay paused over here. So folks, with these initial orders given, let's go ahead and get time moving forward, and let's see exactly how things play out. I just want to mention, as always, folks, if you've been enjoying this series, if you would like to see it continue, please don't hesitate to keep letting me know by leaving those likes and comments down below. As always, they make a very big difference in just letting me know what people are enjoying on the channel, what I should keep doing, what I should speed up, what I should slow down, and how I can adjust my approach to make sure everyone's having a great old time. Now, let's see if the science ship by the depressurized R&D district is having a great old time. Please tell me everyone's okay. Oh, wow. I legitimately was expecting everyone to die. Summary of intelligence on the Techno-Supervisor's quarters. Thanks to the information recovered from the laboratories, the team was able to locate the quarters of the area's Techno-Supervisor. Higher in rank, their dwelling was of a much larger size than basic crew accommodation and was filled with unknown technology. We have recovered their security key. Excellent. That's 28 science ready for extraction. We'll go ahead and pick that up first, and then we'll have to bring the Tiqqun here to actually open that security room because we need that extra power, I believe it was saying, right? So that's all well and good for the time being. Let's go ahead and collect that science. Do I want to move at the same time? Is there any reason to stay put up over here? Or do we go down over here, finish our tasks, and then ultimately come back to P51, which I think is going to be our final resting place before we leave this system. I see no reason to wait. Batteries are topped up. Hull integrity is looking good, so the damage taken during movement shouldn't cause us any trouble. So yeah, let's go ahead and move the Tiqqun over to the depressurized R&D district, get our task over here completed ASAP before stability gets damaged even further because of other reasons, and then we'll flip back to P51. Sounds good to me. Let's move, and let's hope I haven't forgotten any major aspects of moving the Tiqqun. I don't think I have. We should be just fine as we creep towards the R&D district. Up over here at P41, we're almost done our tasks as well. But let's head on to the interior and just keep an eye on our situation down here. Alloys are coming through. Looks like the Sector 4 is still waiting for a bunch of resources to come through. Oh, I was like, what is that? It looks like it's open. That's really pretty. Very iridescent, and it looks like... Oh, that's kind of... Oh, okay, I guess food just started being delivered. I was like, why are some things visible here but not visible here? But it had just updated. Okay, very well. Now, I guess it would have been a bit faster to get all the resources allocated if we were at Sector 6. Nah, I think we're fine, because all we need is food locally available, workers locally available, and electronics and alloys locally available as well, right? Actually, electronics are being stored where? Haha, you know what? Nowhere. Okay, let's go ahead and do what? Let's go ahead and bring in some electronics in place of the polymers, and let's make sure that we have set our resource management appropriately. Sector 3 is trying to pull in 3. That sounds good to me. Probably could make that a little bit higher. Sector 2 is trying to maintain 2, so that sounds good. These guys should be moving some of the electronics over. That should be all well and good. But beyond that as well, there was some other concern I had. Alloys are coming through, electronics are coming through, workers, right. We have currently 197 workers available in this sector. We should perhaps bring some more over, just in case that 40 haven't already been accounted for. I should have checked before I began the unlocking of the sector, but just in case, to play it safe, why don't we go ahead and bring some more people in. Let's take a look at population management. Sector 3 needs 170 workers. Let's assume we're about to lose 40. So let's say we need at least 40 to maintain current circumstances. Population is at 820. Housing cap is 896, so we have enough room for 40 more workers. If I pull them from Sector 1, will we be okay? Yes, we should be just fine. So let's go ahead and get 40 workers, sure. Workers only from Sector 1 over to Sector 3. Again, just trying to cover my bases and make sure nothing goes horribly wrong. Again, ideally, I would have double-checked the numbers before we ordered the unlocking of this sector, but hey, it is what it is. You live and you learn, I suppose, as we are arriving... Ooh. At this wreckage site over here. Zooming on by. That was a lot faster than I expected. We were actually moving at regular speed there. Oh, man. The bodies truly are a horrifying sight, aren't they? Look at how many there are. Look at how many there are. My goodness. Like, it's hitting my morale, and I'm not even in this world, but it is a terrifying and ghastly sight. But that is not our concern. We have other concerns in the area. Let's go ahead and open the Orne 8 security room. With power supplied from the Tiqqun, the light bulbs team will be able to open the security room with the techno supervisor's key. Now, I am a little concerned that whatever's locked in there should stay locked in there. I'm definitely feeling extra jumpy these days, but we've made the commitment here. Let's go ahead and open up the security room and see if there's anything of value to be had. Separately, up over here at P41. Oh, I saw the 28 and that made me very nervous. The tech lab has been disabled. It's fine because we don't have any science right now anyway, so it's not slowing us down, but hopefully it doesn't keep happening. Either way, back to P41 and the Francis. The team reports that the telluric formation is circular in shape and has steep sides. They have begun mapping the numerous tunnels that lead inside it. Initial reports suggest that these were not created by natural phenomena, but dug intentionally. Interesting. Continued behavioral analysis of the team is registering breaches of Dulles safety protocol, as well as metaphysical and psychological aberrations. One crew member appears to have removed their protective helmet, convinced that the air in the tunnels was breathable. Accounting for P-41's atmosphere, their remaining lifespan is estimated to be 37 minutes. I don't want to lose more lives. End the DLP there. We can override security protocols for the Francis team. Commencing DDoS, denial of service attack, flooding Eden Vigilance Network. The Francis team will be able to act without constraint, independent of Dulles protocol. No, that doesn't sound like a good idea to me. That doesn't sound like a good idea to me. I think we should continue exploration, implementing strict psychological monitoring, or we should leave the planet. Again, there's that hubris again. There's that greed, that want to know more, that desire for a complete understanding of our circumstances. Well, before we make a decision, let's go ahead and collect the science that there is to collect. That's a fair bit that we're leaving otherwise, should the Francis meet a horrendous fate. And meanwhile, back over here, we got 2.6 cycles before we're done and before we can leave. I mean, this is hurting our morale. People are happy across the board still, but not as happy as they once were, right? Meanwhile, down over here, how are we looking? Alloys are not coming through. What's the deal with that? What is the deal with that? Okay, finally alloys are coming through now. Took its sweet time, but the resources are flowing, which is good to see. And it looks like the health center is now being built up as well. Actually, hang on a second. This will take another 50 workers. So, you know what? We need more than just the 40 that we sent over. And I should have been a bit more conscientious of that. So we need another 50 at least. Let's go ahead and take a look at population management. Again, Sector 1 has way too many people to begin with, right? So do we move another, 30 people over? Got to be careful not to have Sector 1 be, overworked either. I mean, Sector 2 has a ton of workers, 500 workers. They only need 246. We should definitely bring some people over from Sector 2. So let's go ahead and bring, 100 maybe workers? We don't have room for all of them, but we can build more housing. Let's bring 100 workers from Sector 2 to Sector 3. I think that's probably a good idea. Again, in Sector 2, we can change our work policies, but we can save that for later as well, right? We don't need the extra stability right now. They're fine as they are. Let's go ahead and bring 100 workers over, and Sector 2 should be perfectly fine. Sector 3 will just need additional housing, and that'll be A-okay. Let's start the migration as construction over here has begun. I might need to pause construction if it's going too quickly, I suppose, but separately, I should also consider building an additional set of demotic quarters down over here, though maybe it can wait. A little bit of homelessness never hurt anybody, question mark? I mean, that's a terrible thing to say. I definitely want to stay on top of the homelessness situation. I'm just trying to keep an eye on our electronics situation as well, that's all. But yes, 100 people being brought over from Sector 2 to Sector 3. Should we perhaps send some people over from Sector 1 to Sector 2 as well? Not sure. But the transfer is complete, so we don't have to keep an eye on the health center construction anymore. We should be covered, as we have 309 workers. Add another 50. That'll take us to 220 required. And if you subtract 40 from the 309, we'll still have 260, assuming that 40 workers have not yet been deducted from the count over here. Maybe I'm wrong there, but I'd rather play it safe, obviously, right? 61 workers without homes. How do I want to adjust this to actually make everything fit? I mean, I suppose I could go ahead and put down demotic quarters like this, right? And then eventually we'll pop down another one over here. They should both fit, and my neuroticism should be kept in check. We just have to move this stockpile elsewhere, which is perfectly acceptable, obviously. Over here, electronics are still coming through. We don't need polymers over here, so that's okay. And post-decrionization treatment has been unlocked. That should accelerate the rate at which we wake up these cryonic pods. So that's all well and good. Back to our tech tree, though, we have to figure out what comes next, and I'm not 100% sure. Again, things have been going so well for us. Things have been, I shouldn't say that, I'm jinxing things, but things have been going all right. You know, should I improve my probe launcher? Do we need faster probe construction speed? I mean, arguably yes. Why else would this option be there, right? Have them move around faster, increase their scouting radius even further. Ooh, that could be nice, actually. That could be nice. What does our docking bay allow us to do? We can have parts of Stanford. Loading and unloading resources is 10% faster. I suppose that could make a difference. This isn't a bad idea. Docking bays can store 20% more resources. I might like that. And the small stockpile over here can get collapsible frames for additional transporters, which will just help move goods that much more efficiently. Separately, I do wonder about the drone bay. Constructs and stores drones. Drones can be used to quickly transfer up to 10 units of resources at a time between sectors. When is that going to become urgently required? You know what I mean? again, it exists for a reason, right? It's not just there for funsies. I'm sure I'm going to need it at some point, so I just wonder about that as well. And separately, the science ship. I suppose we've finished all this stuff. What does this need? This needs post-lunaclism science ship, which in turn needs EKP optimization. Just thinking about the extra available science that we could pick up from existing circumstances. You know what? Why don't we go ahead and invest in our alternative life center? Now we don't need the extra stability right now. Workshops as well can help avoid accidents, I suppose. Mechs construct buildings 25% faster. That's impressive as well. We don't need additional food. We don't need additional stability. I suppose we could have our cargo ships moving faster and storing more. Sure, internal components miniaturization. Sounds good to me. Let's go ahead and research this. It's a familiar space to live in, upgrading our ships. Why don't we go ahead and do that and then consider our options as we move forward? Because I want to make sure the science that we use is used appropriately. And to that end, I'm actually going to focus on thermal regulation first, allowing our solar panels to produce more power as they are, maybe relieving some of the pressure and need to build additional solar panels. That should be nice and helpful, and then yes, we'll focus on the internal component miniaturization to help our cargo ships a bit further. Again, I apologize for the edit there. For some reason, my recording software is no longer cooperating with IXION like it once used to, and it's crashing randomly. So my apologies, but again, you didn't miss too much, fortunately. Let's go ahead and close the tech tree, and let's really hope that the allocation of science points there was appropriate and does in fact work out as we needed to. Feeling overall pretty comfortable with how things are going. Let's take a look at the system map over here. We're almost done there, and we are done over here. So let's head on over to P41 just to see what the next steps are, I suppose. Right, of course, I already knew what they were. We were just waiting for all the science to be collected, which it has been. Continue exploration of the formation, implementing strict psychological monitoring. I'm not going to allow them to override security protocols. Like, the guy's remaining lifespan was immediately dropped to 37 minutes. It's very possible that the reading is inaccurate, but I gotta go with the gotta go with the science. I gotta go with the numbers that I can see. I gotta go with the data, the hard data that I have. So, with the help of specifically designed Dolos protocols, the Francis team will continue their expedition and analyze the high levels of aluminium in P41's atmosphere. Let's go for it. 4 cycles is a long time, but well worth it, I think. And let's take a look at our fleets just to make sure everybody is busy with at least something. What happened there? Oh, our 4th sector has been unlocked. I was like, why did that randomly close on me? Well, for good reason, because we now need to go back to the interior and take a look at the situation over here. Quite the mess, but it looks like there are quite a few electronics, quite a few alloys and stuff as well. Okay, sounds good, sounds good. All right, folks, so as I was saying, or at least as I believe I said at the beginning of this session, I spent quite a bit of time taking a look at our grid and trying to understand exactly how we're going to lay this sector out. And I think this will work out nicely as long as I've got all my measurements right. It'll work out quite nicely, though it has to start in a bit of a haphazard way. So first, let's go ahead and put down our road over... Oh, no, sorry, not over there. Come on. Down over here. Let's go ahead and put down our road up to... not the same level as this guy, but one shorter. And that's going to be the case across both sides here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to go ahead and expand down this way as far as we can go, which is actually quite far. That's nice to see. This one's obviously blocked, but we're going to go as far as we can and continue going down to here. Let's go ahead and establish the road in which direction, because we're not going to put our stockpiles and stuff down over here for starters. The initial selection of buildings we can put down are limited. I can't just put down a large stockpile, so I'm actually going to do a lot of this off to the side, and then we're going to rearrange everything I've been that I'll be laying out to kick things off. So let's just go ahead and put the road down like this. That should be fine. I'll get, let's see, stockpile up here for the time being. Can I fit a workshop down there? I can indeed. Again, this is temporary, folks, so don't worry. The edges are going to be reserved for docking bays. This is just temporary. So let's put this workshop down over here. Let's go ahead and put a stockpile down over here. That should be easily reached. And let's go ahead and, once that's done, clear this out and put a stockpile up over here or something as well. So as time is about to proceed, we should also keep an eye out for the situation there. But let's also keep an eye out for the situation here. Is everyone doing something? We've got carbon being mined. Silicon is not being mined anymore, but there's 1,000 out there to pick up, so that's looking okay. Ice is being picked up. Currently, we don't have any on the station, so that's definitely a good call. We've got cryonic pods being picked up by the Eldana and the Pelican, so that's all well and good. Everyone has their responsibilities. Everyone's doing something or the other. All right, that's all well and good. Let's head on back to the interior, sorry, not the exterior, and let's have time move forward as the workshop over here is going to build out these roads, and we'll be able to actually start getting some work done in this sector. Very excited for Sector 4 over here. Very positive, heroic music playing in the background right now to give us a sense of hope and awe, I suppose. Hopefully it's not all misplaced as we get rid of some of the garbage over there. Connect this road over here. Another stockpile needs to fit down over here. In order to do so, we'll need to go ahead and get rid of some of these guys as well. Again, just clearing out some space over here, gaining access to electronics and stuff as well. It is actually wonderful. This is all very nicely positioned. It's going to work very, very, very well for us. But as that's happening, back to the system map and over once more to the R&D district. Fingers crossed, folks. Fingers crossed. Oh. No one's dead. Summary of intelligence on the Ornate 8 chamber. Scattered files on the floor of the security room contained warnings about the prohibited nature of what was stored in the area beyond. Behind a further door, a long chamber was filled with occupied Dolos cryopods. Numerous data disks full of scientific information were also discovered. These finds are of incredible value, so that's a ton of alloys, some electronics as well, which is only going to make a marginal difference at this point in time, and another upgrade for our tech lab. Interesting, and the DLP there. And it seems as though we're done with the Etamananki wreckage over here. Just gonna hang tight for a moment just to make sure everything has been taken care of, and it has indeed. So sure, let's go ahead and leave the wreckage behind. And if we take a look, the storm is going to keep moving, I assume. Oh, actually, it's kind of stuck out over here. That's irrelevant to us. Let's go ahead and move the Tiqqun up to P51 again. I want to get away from the morale damage that the corpses are doing, right? I'm pretty sure they do have an impact, as you can see, that -1. So yeah, we're definitely going to move right away. Tiqqun, let's head on up to the P51 orbit. Sounds good to me. 2.2 cycles will be fine for our batteries, and then we can resume taking a look at the new sector. Again, this sector it should be relatively straightforward, and I really hope my planning and measuring and drawing was accurate. We actually, oh damn, you know what? I should have realized we won't have any power over here. Sector 4 is in a touch of trouble. Can we, oh, you know what? Wow. That was bad timing. That was really bad timing. That was really, really bad timing. Let's go ahead and put this stockpile down over here. Again, it's temporary, so it doesn't really matter. And let's put a mess hall down over here as well. Again, temporary, so it doesn't really matter, though it's not going to get topped up until we actually arrive, which is going to be in 2 cycles. Unfortunately, it's actually a meal cycle right now, so I goofed a little bit there, but we'll be fine. Everything will be in order as soon as we get to P51, so I'm not too concerned, truth be told, but I do have to I have to get right on it as soon as we arrive. People will get fed. We need to make sure housing is in place and stuff. I want to try and clear some of this space up. I want to try and clear some of this space up as well, but the construction robot's not going out either right now because he's powered down. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and take a look at maintenance. Let's take a look at the large stockpile, and let's take a look at how snugly it fits. Yes, I got the math right over here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get docking bays on which side? Bottom side or the top side? Maybe the top side to match the layout over here. Or do we want to match the layout over here? Oh, decisions. The real important ones. Let's go ahead and put our docking bays across the top. Sure. So I just want to make sure we're getting the road connection the right direction, basically. So it's going to be up like that. So this will be iron. This will be carbon. We'll have one for cryonic pods as well. And one for silicon. Yeah, okay, cool. That sounds good to me. Keep expanding down here. Looks like we've actually arrived, so that was a lot smoother than I'd anticipated, so that's all well and good. Yeah, we're fine. Let's start picking up some of these alloys, please. And we should really start considering where housing ends up as well. Let's go ahead and connect these guys so the construction can continue, because I think I would like housing to be down over here. Let's collect the alloys from here, and let's make sure we pick up these electronics too, because as you can see, these larger stockpiles actually require electronics. So the sooner we can get this cleared out, the sooner we can get to this, and the sooner we can move on with everyone's lives over here. Do we really not have enough food? Nah, we have enough food. We have enough food here. It's just a matter of waiting for the next meal cycle before everyone's taken care of. That's all well and good. People's opinions here are currently neutral. Homelessness is too high, and people are starving. So that will all be taken care of as soon as the next meal cycle comes around, and as soon as we put down some demotic quarters. We have 9 electronics right now. We have to make sure to actually stockpile some electronics down over here. Why don't we go ahead and build... well, I suppose I could build a... We'll keep the electronic stockpiles small. Don't need that many. Can't fit you until I get rid of this thing, so let's go ahead and build a road there. 19 crew members were injured. Don't kill anybody on me now. Don't go dying on me. Alright, good here. Let's pick up these alloys. This one's almost done. That one to worry about as well. And let's go ahead and, as soon as this one's done, extend the road and pick up these electronics. Well, we can't until we put the stockpile down over here, and this needs to be cleared out first before we can do that. But that's taken care of at least, and let's go ahead and build the road. Cool, okay. More alloys to be picked up over here, sounds good to me. And I'm just trying to figure out again where exactly all the housing and stuff goes, right? I will want to rework where these stockpiles and stuff, stockpiles and things are as well. I'm just trying to figure out where exactly they end up. I'm gonna have to clear these guys out as well, just so I can kind of see more clearly, so to speak, exactly what I want to accomplish here. God, I wish they built roads faster. I would just like to have housing taken care of ASAP. Food will be fine. Food will be fine for the time being, but housing is something I have to definitely get involved in. Let's go ahead and make sure that Sector 4 is bringing food in. We're trying to stockpile, what, at least 4 units, right? Because 40 workers for the time being. Each of these large stockpiles requires 12 workers, so let's make sure that they don't get activated prematurely. Let's make sure we have workers here, but before we do that, we of course want to make sure we have housing for those workers, right? So 12 times, what'll it be, like 4, let's say, that's 48. Let's try and get like 100 workers or so into Sector 4 before these guys get built up. But of course, before I bring those 100 workers in, I want to make sure there's housing for them, and I want to make sure we have all this stuff organized as well. Though in order to do that, I need to clear some of this stuff up. Okay, all right. It's sort of like a catch-22 kind of a situation in terms of orders of operation, but we'll get there shortly. Up over here, the tech lab has what going on for me here? Administrator. Among the items recovered from the Orne 8 security room was a prototype supercomputer based on PA architecture. It could be integrated into our tech lab computer systems. Stanford protocols do discourage the use of externally sourced lab equipment. Oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man, how dangerous could this be? How dangerous could this be? They were more advanced than us in many ways, but what am I risking here? At the end of the day, I guess I'm wondering what it'll unlock as far as intelligence about the Piranesi is concerned, and that is a serious concern, right? More serious than our qualms with the UN. So yeah, launch the PA to assist with our research. Let's see what it unveils to us, and hopefully doesn't cause us too much trouble. Risk after risk these days. Let's go for it. So have we already like automatically got this upgrade and the DLP there? Hang on, let's take a look at our tech tree really quickly. Tech lab, where are you? Didn't we already unlock that from earlier? Am I misunderstanding something? We are able to research this though. The research cost for upgrades is reduced by 10%. Oh, that's no small matter. Let's go ahead and queue that up. That's actually a pretty big deal. Cool. It just makes everything cheaper, relatively significantly as well. Cool, cool, cool. That sounds good. But yeah, back down over here. What am I waiting for? These guys are going to get picked up. Alloys. We need one for electronics before we can clear this guy out. But this is good enough for me to measure, maybe. Let's see. So I can pop another large one down here. So we've got what? We've got iron, carbon, silicon. Then the next one over is going to be for bionic pods, let's say. And I guess that's everything we need here, unless we decide to produce electronics here as well, in which case we can do that using small stockpiles instead. I have no issue with that. So we'd have one here, and then one here. So that's all according to plan. And then I would like to fit the workshop and stockpile up over here. So the workshop would go like this. The stockpile behind it, I think. The small stockpile for like food or something. Should be able to fit right behind it, I believe. You're a 4x4, you're also a 4x4. Yeah, so that should fit snugly. And the mess hall is something I want to put up over here as well. I believe 1, 2, 3, 4 should fit nicely like this or something. Right, because if I take a look at the workshop, my apologies, just want to make sure this is done right. So if I pop the workshop down like so, it ends right there. So the mess hall can go right there, which means we should be able to put demotic quarters up here, and it should fit nicely, I believe. And we can take it all the way to like the end. That goes there, goes there. Okay, let's try this. We can always make adjustments down the line if necessary, but let's go ahead and pop the demotic quarters down over there. That's enough housing for, what, over 100 people, right? 112, which is enough to get us started for the time being. We've got 40 people living here already. Let's go ahead and move another 60. Let's get them from sector, not from sector 1, not all of them at least, because we do need quite a few workers up over here still. Sector 2, I still have quite a few workers over what they need, I mean, sure. So let's go ahead and move 60 workers from sector 1 over to sector 4. Start the migration. Oh, nope, didn't realize we're all good. 60 from sector 1 to sector 4. Sounds good. All right, cool. Moving on. Let's let time go forward, and let's go ahead and establish another small stockpile over here after I get rid of these roads. This stockpile here is going to hold on to electronics. That way we'll be able to actually dismantle this and build out our whole plan over here. And these electronics will actually help us establish the demotic quarters as well as these two. Let's go ahead and make this the high priority. Just want to make sure that we are completing this before anything else. And let's go ahead and make sure that we are in fact building roads that allow us to acquire more alloys. 9 over there. Let's go ahead and get these guys as well. Getting some from here, getting some from here. Cool, cool, cool. These guys are a little bit closer. They should be easier to acquire from. Yeah, that should be good. Back to our system view. Is there anything to do? Yes, there is. Down at P41, what have we got? Oh, looks like we're actually okay. Thanks to the intensive psychological and medical follow-up, the Francis team was able to conclude the study. Solid aluminium particles carried by the winds of P41 created the network of tunnels. The erosive process has transformed the topography of the planet. When the particles collide with each other inside the tunnels, the reverberation generates a low-frequency vibration. When this passes through the inner ear, it alters human neural activity. Well, that's super cool. Gonna end the DLP there. And now we're able to leave. I'm not about to override security protocols. I mean, what do you guys think? We can obviously stick around here until I get a consensus from the comments, but I feel like we should leave. This seems like a very, very risky choice. For the time being, though, of course, we're going to collect that 44 science and see what benefits it can net us. And let's head on back to the interior and continue making progress down over here. We are now picking up electronics, I would assume. No, we're not, because this still needs to be built. So I guess I should actually prioritize you as well, just to make sure we're actually able to store the 1 electronics that we need. Miniaturization has been researched. Let's head on back to our tech tree. We are now chasing after the PA, the Orne 8 PA, which is all well and good. We are collecting enough science to get the job done. Let's leave our follow-up decision for later, because for the time being, we're actually okay. And you know what's really interesting? Our hull integrity, our balance per cycle is actually still positive despite the additional open sector. So that's good. I mean, I could have done the math previously, and I would have gleaned that all the same, but it's nice to actually see it in action as well. Go ahead and pick up all these alloys up over there. These guys have been taken care of. This guy still needs a bit of work here. We'll be there soon. We'll be there soon. Need 80 alloys. Let's go ahead and bring alloys in. Try and keep, let's call it 40, sure. We'll bring them in from Sector 2. Yeah, oh, look at that. That's actually really pretty. Just interesting to see the visualization of the movement of goods. Sector 2 has 324, so we can most certainly bring additional alloys over. and actually accelerate the construction work over here. Yes, there's plenty to pick up locally, but you know, why go slower than absolutely necessary? The Francis has completed the retrieval of all the science. I'm going to leave them floating above the planet, and maybe we can make a decision together about whether we should override their protocols or not. I am leaning towards not. I'm leaning towards playing it safe, making sure everyone that's left actually makes it to our future planet, you know? To that end, though, let's take a look at our tech tree again. We finished our latest upgrade, and what do we focus on next? I mean, do we pursue the nuclear power plant? I mean, look at how much cheaper it is now, from 90 down to 81. My goodness. Do I consider the drone bay? Might not be a bad idea. What I'm worried about right now is the population transfer being completed with us not having everything in place. And you know what, actually, on that note, and seeing the tech tree reminds me that we don't even have our train station being built. So we need to get on that to make sure if anybody does end up injured, they have access to the health center, right? Otherwise, we find ourselves exactly where we were trying to avoid finding ourselves. Man, I would really like resources to move just a little bit more quickly. They are being brought in, I believe. 23 available right now. And I just wonder if this is a perfect example of when having those drones readily available would have made a world of difference, right? Just wonder, I just wonder. We're prioritizing this, and then hopefully this will get done next, and then we'll prioritize the actual train stations, because the stockpiles, they can wait. Yes, I want them relatively urgently in the grand scheme of things, but not more urgently than access to the health center and housing, right? Because that's going to be a serious problem. Fortunately, people in Sector 4 are currently overall happy. That plus 10 from opening a new sector is going a very, very long way, so hopefully that sticks around for long enough, as we're about to get the stockpile done over here. So let's go ahead and pull these electronics and actually finish the construction of these demotic quarters at the same time. Let's go ahead and... oh, I can't get rid of all these roads because there's still some alloys to be picked up over here. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at the tech tree. And should I get that drone base? Should I get the water treatment center instead? Should I get the hull temple? Damn, it's wild that none of them seem necessary, you know? What about the science ship? Let's go ahead and get the EKP optimization. Let's chase after the extra science generation, because that's going to make it a lot easier to just unlock everything. And if you can unlock everything with all the baseline, you know, decisions already made, it's not as concerning. The other option I was thinking of was the collapsible frames. Maybe having additional transporters is a good idea. Now that we're seeing how long it's taking for some of this stuff to actually get done, maybe that'll make a good difference. So it looks like the train station has received all the electronics it needs. That's all well and good. Looks like these guys are getting what they need as well. Can we please get this bad boy built? I thought I prioritized him. Thank you. All right, cool. And now let's go ahead and demolish all these roads so that we can continue planning. How do I want to do this? Let's go ahead and pause for a moment here. Get all these guys facing the same direction. So we got iron, carbon, silicon, cryonic pods. Make sure you are actually paused and paused. I'm not going to rush these guys. Docking bays are going to line up on the other side, and I really should have checked to make sure, yes, that they will fit. There is a 1 grid gap, which is extremely frustrating, but there's no, at least as far as I was thinking about it relatively quickly, fairly, to put it fairly, there's no like hyper clean way where you're not left with 1 or 2 grids one way or another. I much preferred at least this clean midline approach. So I hope you don't mind, I suppose. But yes, we can fit our docking bays up there. We should be able to fit our probe launchers and stuff as well, so that's all well and good. And let's just make sure that we are in fact able to build the workshop down over here, as I'd hoped. Yes, we can put a stockpile up over here, fits snugly, and we can get a mess hall down as well. You know what, actually, I'm going to go ahead and do that the other way around, because then what I can do is I can get the workshop up here, I can get the small stockpile down here, have this small stockpile stockpiling food, have this guy switched off so they move food over to here, and then the mess hall is right next to where the food is stored. So over to food, over to mess hall, and let's place you down like so, and I guess that's about as snug as it can get, right? Snug as a bug, even though insect farms are well and truly behind us. Let's pop you down like so. I could just get this road sticking out ever so slightly like that, and yeah, it's a bit more of a journey than I would have preferred, but it's fine. It's fine. I guess I could flip this around. There's no real value in that, so this will stay as is. Demotic quarters can continue to be built up over here. That'll be enough housing for, what, 700, 800 people? I feel like I'm speaking a mile a minute. My apologies. I'm very excited for our current developments and how everything's looking. So I'm just like rattling off extremely quickly. My apologies. Let's go ahead and dismantle this stockpile. Please and thank you. And maybe even dismantle these other guys, right? And I'll need to consider where my alloys stockpile goes. I suppose I could attach that to the end as well. I could have put it here instead of this workshop, I suppose. I'm wondering what I would prefer. Yeah, sure, let's drop the stockpile down there. Where are we? Stockpile. You won't be free, eh? What if I actually demolish both of these guys? And where do I store electronics as well? That's another concern. I mean, this whole line here could just be... Oh, you know what? This is the sweet spot for small stockpiles, I suppose. Or I could put another large one down over here. Because again, just as a reminder, we can't put anything that goes up against the wall over there, right? So maybe this side is where we should actually put all of our docking bays. Right. Forgot about this obstruction in our way. If we do that, if we put our stockpiles up over here, let's see. We could do food and electronics, or food and alloys over here, kind of keep them in a central position. That seems fine by me. But then when we put our workshop and stuff down, we can kind of centralize them over here, right? So if I go ahead and try and place, let's say, a docking bay, where am I limited? Okay, let's see. I'm gonna try and mark this down here. Trying to figure out exactly how far I can get. So that should be my limit. Docking bay can fit right there. Yeah, and then can I fit another one actually right next to it? Yes, I can. Okay, perfect. And what about on the other side? Docking bay can go right there, so this road should go over here, right? Because then the docking bay fits there. Looks like it. And then an additional one can be placed over here, right? Yeah, looks like it. Okay, cool. So if we do that, I should be able to put a workshop down somewhere over here, leaving an awkward 2-grid space, which I don't love, but it's not the end of the world. What about batteries? What kind of batteries can I fit here? The large one doesn't fit, but we don't need this road over here. Though if I put the large one down, I can't put the workshop down. Okay, we might just have to make do with the tier 2 batteries, I suppose. For the time being, let's put the workshop down over here, just so that we have it, and then I can plan around it as we remove some of these guys down over here. Cool. This is all getting built. This is all looking pretty good. Fantastic, fantastic. Again, just want to make sure we're actually moving like goods as soon as possible, right? Let's get this set to storing iron. Let's get this set to storing carbon. You're going to be storing silicon, and you're going to be storing cryonic pods. That's what it was, right? We'll eventually start building those docking bays as well. At least this will allow for the movement of goods, right? Like, as soon as this gets built, if I can figure out my resource management appropriately, I can start emptying the topped up carbon in Sector 2, and we can have the flow of goods happening. Now, this doesn't mean that I can remove these stockpiles. I still need stockpiles locally so that we can keep producing the polymers or the electronics or whatever it might be, right? Now, what's up with iron? Do we really have iron deficiency over here? Plenty of it has been mined out. Why are we not picking more of it up? And should we just chase after the alloys out there and the electronics? Let's get what? Drakkar is bringing back iron. That sounds good to me. I suppose I could get you bringing back alloys instead or as well. Let's just get those alloys. Why don't we? And we'll get the electronics as well. Make those a lower priority. But that should be a handful of round trips, and that should take care of the situation. Let's go ahead and get you helping with the alloys as well, Zloty, because we don't need that much more carbon right now. We're actually doing okay as far as that's concerned. And we're fine as far as silicon's concerned as well. My goodness. Let's take a look at our fleet management. Yeah, okay, sure. So let's go ahead and reprioritize some of these guys to just focus on something else as we take care of our storage situation. Definitely glad that I'm doing this. Looks like our carbon storage has actually been set up. So, how are we going to do this? Well, hopefully, we're going to do this with housing being taken care of a bit more quickly. It's funny, I prioritized that, and yet this thing got done sooner. And what about our train station over here? It's being built still. It's being built still. Okay, fair enough. Here, let's go ahead and pause you. Let's go ahead and pause you and you. Everything we need is still in place? No. We do not have a food stockpile. So resume you, and actually perhaps make you a higher priority. Do we have enough alloys? We do indeed. Okay. So once this is done, we should prioritize this stockpile to get the food set up. This stockpile was supposed to store alloys when the time does come. And then we can get rid of this one, right? Okay, cool. But the time isn't yet. Anyway, as I was saying, so carbon stockpile is set up right now. If I take a look at resource management, in Sector 4, we can take a look at carbon. We can say maximize your storage, even though that's not what we actually necessarily want. For the time being, let's try and pull as much of it here as possible. Sector 4 is going to export to all sectors for whatever reason, but we're going to prioritize Sector 2. Sector 2 is going to export carbon. Hang on a second. Don't just start up on me. To Sector 6, but it's going to try and maintain, let's say, 20. So hopefully what's going to happen is they're going to keep moving carbon over to Sector 4 until it reaches 720. Not actually. We're going to stop it partway through. Maybe when it gets to 500 or so, we're going to set it to, let's say, 100 or 50. And then it's going to export back to Sector 2 when Sector 2 has less than that target 20. Maybe it should actually be 40. I think that's a more reasonable number. Cool. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see how that plays out, and I believe that should work as intended. So let's close that and just keep an eye on, yes, how this all develops. If we take a look at the system map, meanwhile, why don't we see if there's another place to send our probe, because I'm starting to get a little worried that we're not being thorough enough over here. We have plenty of polymers and stuff, so we should perhaps take into consideration, actually we should take into consideration the fact that we've got plenty of resources out there. We actually don't need to send a probe out. I mean, look at that. There's 1,500 iron to mine, 270 carbon, 263 hydrogen. We're not even chasing that. There's like a total of 3,000 ice to be collected. We're fine. We're fine. You know what we should do, though? What we should do is get the Drakkar here picking up those colonists. Let's do that. Let's do that, because we don't need 3 ships bringing back 150 alloy. Let's go ahead and do this. Cool. Perfect. Excellent. That should be good. That should be good. All right. Back to the interior here. What's going on in Sector 1? Got an event. Oh, excuse me? This I was not prepared for. We have a fire station up over here. We do not have one over here. Do we have room for a fire station? Wow, I guess I got a little too cocky, didn't I? I guess I could put one down temporarily up over here, take care of the situation and all the cryonic pods that we might otherwise lose, and then rejig my approach as necessary to put the battery up over here. Because ultimately I could put the fire station down over here and we'd still be able to fit the mushroom wall behind it. No, we would not. Why you gotta be such a pain, game? Why you gotta be such a pain? Do we need polymers up over here? Do we need all this storage? I mean, I guess we do. Do I want to demolish all these and put the fire station up over there? These guys provide me with how much power apiece? 120 apiece. If I add my large one down over here, what will that provide me with? 700. So I would lose 120 times 4, 480, but gain 700, giving me a net positive 220, which is probably not going to be enough for 5 cycles that we need. I also notice we have extra hours over here right now, so that's not good. How long has that been going on? And have we lost more lives because of it? Not that I've noticed. We have not lost more lives because of it. Just injuries. Just a bit more injury prone, that's all. Wow, okay, I wish I'd noticed that. Okay, a couple of adjustments to make then. We have way too many workers in Sector 2. Let's go ahead and bring, like 30 or so back? Yeah, geez, how did I not notice that? Let's bring 40 back. 40 workers from Sector 2 to Sector 1 migrate. Cool. How many does the fire station actually need? 10. Alright, so we should be fine with 40 coming through. Let's pop you down here for the time being because there's nowhere else to put you. Right? And let's hope we can solve that situation. Though I should also actually take a look at the event over here. What's going on? Administrator. The danger that fire presents in space is certainly significant, but overestimated for a structure such as the Tiqqun. The station is built to withstand a lot of punishment. Obviously, a response team must be dispatched eventually before bulkheads melt and infrastructure is destroyed. Well, I will pledge to construct a fire station in Sector 1 within 10 cycles. Take care of this right here, right now, please and thank you. This is no small matter. There's 100 cryonic pods there. That needs to be taken care of. We do need electronics up over here. Do we have some? We do. Okay, cool. So we should be fine. We got enough alloys. We're actually just short. I'm sure enough will come through quickly enough. But electronics, 40. Yeah, hello. Sector 1 is trying to maintain 50. Sector 2 is able to export, so that should be happening. And hopefully this thing will get built quickly enough to take care of this before it actually escalates. This is a terrifying prospect. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. Meanwhile, over here, this guy's been built up. We are able to store food. That's good. Population transfer is complete. Over in Sector 1, how are we looking? Happy now? Yes. Working conditions are optimal? Yes. Okay, good. Hopefully the additional 10 or so workers isn't suddenly going to shift that into extra hours, but we'll keep an eye out for it if it does. Down over here, Sector 4, why are you not prioritizing the train station? Like, these guys are paused. Pause the mess hall. Pause the mess hall. Focus on this. We have a mess hall right now. We're fine. We're fine. Focus on this. Please. I beg of you. The crew of the mining ship Omnitron have become more experienced. This mining ship will now extract resources at a rate of 0.6 per cycle. Cool. And finally, we're actually building this. Again, if anybody gets injured over here, we'll be in a lot of trouble. No one's hurt right now, but I don't want to wait for it to happen before we do something about it. That's like the worst approach to emergencies. I say as I concern myself with this fire that has now spread. Cool. I mean, hey, look, I'd rather... I mean, this must smell so bad right now, but I would rather a trash stockpile catch fire than a cryonic pod stockpile. My goodness. This is being built up. So how does fire move? And what actually... Does it eventually just disappear? A fire has broken out. Oh, no. Oh no, that's a lot of food on fire right now. So a fire has broken out and prevents proper operation. That's all that happens. But after the fire, it looks like this thing is damaged and needs repairs. Okay, fair enough. Let's get that. Well, let's get that fire station for the time being, and we'll consider our battery placement later on. My goodness. My goodness. Okay. All right. Can I actually, on that note, put batteries down over here? I can. Tier 2 fits with a gap. Because why would it fit perfectly? Can I actually fit 1, 2, 3? I can fit 4 tier 1s instead, which is 400, well, 120 each, right? That's 480 power as opposed to 300. And can we actually upgrade our batteries a bit further? I think all we can increase now is charging speed, right? Yeah. We've already maximized their capacity. Fair enough. Okay. Something to think about. Something to think about as the train station at least is almost done. That's promising. And then we can resume some of this other construction. Cool. Go ahead and resume you. Yeah, and let's go ahead and resume you as well. Train station completed. Excellent. Let's get this done. Let's clean this up. Let's start getting those docking bays done. And oh man, I also want to get cryonic centers down here, right? They would have fit nicely over here. In fact, it would fit quite nicely up over here, right next to the workshop. A different kind of workshop. But then where do those batteries go? I mean, will we really line this entire wall with docking bays? No, we might have 2, 3, and the rest of the space can be used for our batteries, right? Just like we did over here. That option is definitely there. Let's go ahead and actually, on that note, build one of our tier 2 batteries right now. And in fact, we could queue both of these guys up. No rush, but electronics is looking a lot better now than it did previously, and hull integrity is looking a bit rougher right now. Oh, right, negative 20 from damaged buildings in Sector 1. Oh, no. This is not good. This is not good. Let's get this fire station done, please, and thank you. And let's take care of these fires. These buildings need repairs as well. Well, at least we accomplished our objective there. Yeah, is a fire... Yeah, there we go. There's a fire truck. Okay. All right, things are... well and truly heating up now. Well and truly heating up. But the fire is being taken care of. Repairs are being handled as well, it looks like. So that's all well and good. And things should calm down in relatively short order. Back to fleet management really quickly. Cryonic pods are still being picked up. Are they? We maxed out? We're kind of maxed out. Actually, we're not. What's going on? Santa's sleigh, what are you up to? Ice. We do need ice. We do need ice. Well, actually, water's maxed out. So you know what? Santa's sleigh. Go ahead and pursue cryonic pods instead. And what about in Sector 3? What's the situation over here? Cryonic pods are not topped up, but the docking bay is actually holding on to quite a few. If I take a look at resource management, cryonic pods are doing what? Sector 3, you're not trying to hold on to any. You're sending them all to Sector 1. Trying to max things out over here, please and thank you. And hopefully we'll speed the process up as we get more cryonic centers built up over here. Mess hall is done. Let's go ahead and dismantle this one. Please and thank you. Again, making room down over here. Workshop's done as well, so let's go ahead and dismantle the one up over here. I said let's go ahead and dismantle it, thank you. And Buddy over here is going to stockpile alloys, right? So let's resume that and bring those alloys over as soon as we can. These guys can be unpaused as well. Do we have electronic storage? We do, down over here. And do I want to shift it anywhere else? Doesn't belong here, necessarily. What about a cryonic center? Let's take a look at population. Cryonic center will take 3 electronics. Let's get this thing commissioned first. Can I position you a bit more nicely? You're going to be hideous either way. Let's pop you down over there and leave this 2 grid for no good reason. Not much else we can do about it. No electronics available here for the time being. Can I pick some up? No, I cannot, it looks like. Fair enough. Let's go ahead and make sure resource management is taking care of it then. Pick up electronics. Let's stockpile at least 4 at a time. Sector 2 currently has 8. Well, I mean, it's emptied out now, but this should be good. Sector 4, let's go ahead and make sure that you are... Wow. Not topped off on carbon. What's going on? Close you. Sector 2, how many do you have? You got 293 there. You got 120 here. Why are they not being shipped over? Sometimes it's a... I remember last session or 2 sessions ago we saw a bit of bugginess, right? So just want to make sure if it is that we're staying on top of it. We are out of iron. I just got to keep an eye on our alloy situation. It is being consumed rather quickly. There's plenty out there to pick up, but just want to be careful about it, right? Yeah, what's going on here? Let's go ahead and take a look at resource management. Sector 2. Oh, why did I mentioned Sector 6 so long ago, and it's been on my mind. That was a foolish mistake. My apology. I don't know why why my mind registered that. Wow, that look is not the end of the world. It's not like anything catastrophic happened as a result of that error there, but it's been sorted now. So goods should now be moving, though it will take some time. Because again, they are physically moved from sector to sector. My goodness, how long have I been waiting for that to play out? Nonetheless, we're okay now. Sector 1 is starting to see an increasing population to a ridiculous degree. And I really do need to consider moving these guys over to maybe Sector 2. Sector 2, do you have room for more people? I believe you do. Yeah, you got room for about 200 more people. Sector 1, can you get rid of 200? No, you can't. That's the thing. So many of these cryonic pods are non-workers, and it's such nonsense. Sector 3 is also lacking housing. If we want to get all those non-workers over here to turn them into colonists, we'll need to build more cryonic demotic quarters. Dang, okay. Or I can just temporarily house them in Sector 2, obviously. That is an option as well. It's not like we have to, keep non-workers only in Sector 3. There's nothing like that, obviously. Are we all done here? We are. So let's go ahead and unpause. What is this? What is this? Why are you flickering? Let's unpause you and you alike. You're going to be cryonic pods. You're going to be silicon. We've got this cryonic center up over here. So why don't we go ahead and start working on our docking bay planning as well. Let's get some roads set up over here like maybe like so. So we can clear these guys out and put our docking bays down over here. I need to figure out where these electronics stockpiles end up, because again, we're going to have what? We're going to have our alloys one dismantled, right? Let's go ahead and actually commission that dismantling right now. Those guys will stock up over here instead. So it's just a matter of figuring out where electronics end up going. Okay, cool. Carbon is coming through. Okay, now I can actually investigate if this process is going to work, though it will take a bit of time, like I was saying. These guys are going to try and hold on to 40. Yeah. Do I want to also stockpile the end products over here, just so that we can keep production going and we have a a stockpile not just of the raw goods, but also of the finished products as well. I mean, it's not a terrible idea. We could do that in an additional sector instead, right? Because this is already taking up quite a bit of space as far as a warehouse is concerned. And if it's all raw materials over here, then being distributed to Sector 2, it could also be distributed to Sector 5, which becomes our industrial supplementary sector, as opposed to making Sector 4 a blended one, right? I feel like that might be the way to go about it. But there's lots to think about. Between that and our decision with the crew of the Francis over here, and the option to override security protocols, there is a lot to think about and a lot to address next time, folks. I hope you enjoyed this session. I most certainly did. This was a momentous occasion, unlocking Sector 4 and actually getting its plans down. Again, it's very unlike any of the other sectors, so I was a little nervous about it working or not working. Of course, there was a bit of a flub there, which cost us the time. Nothing more than time, and that too for something that doesn't really matter. Carbon is now moving smoothly. It looks like we've got... we've got these guys being unloaded from over here, so our ships should now be able to bring back whatever it is they're carrying, and hopefully we can do the same thing with Silicon as well once we get this bad boy over here up and running, which shouldn't take too long either. And we'll just have to do a double check of our resource management to make sure everything's actually working as it should be. Like Silicon, we'll want to export to Sector 4 as well, not to Sector 1, 3, 5, or 6. Again, let's get that out of my head. And then in Sector 4, we'll again want to actually, yes, stockpile as much Silicon as we can, exporting it back to Sector 2 for, processing, and then eventually Sector 5 as well if we decide to make that our secondary industrial sector. Nonetheless, folks, this is where we're calling it a session. I think this has gone relatively smoothly, all things considered. Overall, though, it's almost time to leave the sector, so hopefully we're able to speed up the gathering of resources. We're about halfway to the completion of the Arc of Humanity here, and as we're doing that, as we're picking up the pace on that, waking up more people and collecting them faster, we'll also focus on building enough batteries. Again, I hope you enjoyed the session. If you did, you know what to do. Let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below, folks. As always, it makes a very big difference in just letting me know what people are enjoying on the channel, what I should keep doing more or less of, etc., etc. You're familiar with the drill by now, I'm sure. As always, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.